If you have an asthmatic friend, you know they avoid smoke like the plague. Even a whiff of cigarette smoke can trigger a terrifying attack, leaving them gasping for air. So, imagine my shock when I discovered that for over a century, doctors were prescribing cigarettes as asthma medicine. One of the most famous victims and believers of this treatment was Marcel Proust, the brilliant French author who gave us In Search of Lost Time, one of literature's greatest masterpieces. So, why did we burn poison to breathe? And what finally made us stop? It all started in 1801 with a Scottish physician named James Anderson who had business interests in India. While there, he observed something that would change asthma treatment for the next century. Local people in India were inhaling smoke from certain plants to treat breathing difficulties, and it seemed to work. But what exactly were they smoking? Anderson discovered they were burning plants like stramonium, also known as Jimson weed, and belladonna, commonly called deadly nightshade. Yes, the one and only deadly nightshade that was rumored to put Beauty and the Beauty and the Beast to sleep, or so they say. The same plant that could kill you was being prescribed for breathing problems. When Anderson brought back this discovery to Europe, it sparked what can only be described as a medical craze. Apothecaries began selling these plants so people could roll them into cigars or stuff them into pipes, and the demand was enormous. But here's what was truly mind-blowing. The cigar for asthma remedy wasn't just pushed by quacks. Real doctors, educated physicians were prescribing these smoke treatments with complete confidence. So, how could inhaling smoke possibly help someone who couldn't breathe? The answer lies in the discovery that wouldn't come until decades later. In 1833, scientists discovered a compound called atropine found in deadly nightshade, stramonium, and several other plants. This was the active ingredient that made these smoke treatments work. Atropine is what we call a bronchodilator. It opens up the airways by relaxing the muscles around them. So, in a strange twist of medical history, these ancient smoke remedies were actually delivering a legitimate medication directly to the lungs. The delivery method was bizarre and dangerous, but the active ingredient was real. By 1879, the asthma cigarette industry had exploded across Europe and America. You could walk into any pharmacy and buy factory-rolled asthma cigarettes with brand names like Schiffman's, Asthmador, Porter's, and the rest. But who was using these treatments? Was this just a luxury for the wealthy, or did they reach ordinary people? The truth is, asthma cigarettes were sold everywhere. They were relatively inexpensive and didn't require a doctor's prescription. Patients bought them for their wheezing children, factory workers used them during their breaks, even pregnant women were sometimes advised to use them. The advertisements were everywhere, promising quick relief from asthma and hay fever. Some even claimed to cure consumption, what we know today as tuberculosis. But there was a dark side to this story that most people didn't understand at the time. While these cigarettes did contain bronchodilators that could temporarily open the airways, they also contained a cocktail of dangerous compounds. Belladonna, or the famous deadly nightshade, could cause hallucinations, rapid heartbeat, and even death in higher doses. Stramonium was equally dangerous, potentially causing delirium and respiratory paralysis. And then there was the smoke itself. Even though the active ingredients might help open airways temporarily, the irritating smoke and particles were causing long-term damage to the lungs, the organs that these treatments were supposed to heal. Now, you might be wondering, if the dangers were so obvious, how did intelligent doctors convince themselves that this was good medicine for over a century? The answer lies in the medical theory that dominated thinking for thousands of years, and it makes perfect sense once you understand their logic. Ancient medical systems, whether from the East or West, understood asthma as the result of excess sputum accumulating in the lungs. With this in mind, inhaling hot, dry smoke made perfect sense. The heat would dry up the excess sputum, while the smoke would help expel it from the lungs. It was basic physics applied to medicine. You fight cold and wet with hot and dry. This theory wasn't just European thinking. Ancient Chinese texts from 26,000 BC mentioned similar treatments for respiratory disease. For thousands of years, across completely different cultures and continents, the same basic idea persisted. When someone cannot breathe, make them inhale something. And this is why Greek physicians like Aretios of Cappadocia prescribed various inhaled substances alongside other bizarre treatments like owl's blood mixed with wine. The Aztecs used ephedra smoke for clearing mucus, the Incas used coca leaves, Yes, the same plant that gives us cocaine to treat breathing problem. While these smokes were genuinely open airways due to the atropine in them, people were essentially playing Russian roulette with plant-based drugs, never knowing if they were getting a therapeutic dose or a lethal one. Marcel Proust himself experienced this firsthand. While his asthma cigarettes helped his breathing attacks, they also contributed to his chronic health problems. His letters to family members often mentioned the unpleasant side effects like racing heart, nausea, and strange mental states. The beginning of the end for asthma cigarettes came in 1957 with the invention of modern inhalers. Suddenly, people could get the same bronchodilating effects without inhaling dangerous smoke. The active ingredients could be delivered in precise, measured doses directly to the airways. But asthma cigarettes didn't disappear overnight. They remained available in pharmacies until the 1980s, marketed alongside modern inhalers as an alternative treatment. Today, we know that while some of these ancient smoke remedies contained legitimate medicine, the delivery method was fundamentally flawed. We've learned to isolate the beneficial compounds and deliver them without the toxic smoke, dangerous plant alkaloids, and unpredictable dosing. But here's something that might surprise you. Modern research has found that some of these ancient plant remedies were more sophisticated than we initially gave them credit for. Scientists are still studying traditional smoke remedies from various cultures, finding new compounds that could lead to better asthma treatments. Inhaling smoke to breathe easier seems ironic, even foolish now, but for centuries it was one of the few lifelines available. Medicine is always evolving. What once seemed like wisdom becomes history, and sometimes hidden in the ashes of old remedies are the seeds of new breakthrough. If you found this story fascinating, wait till you hear about how epilepsy was once believed to be a gift from God. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and breathe easy. We've got more wild medical stories coming your way. Bye.